I've been taking golf lessons for the last 10 months. My swing has gone from this to this, and in this video, I'm going to compile all 10 lessons into a 10-minute long video for y'all. We don't have much time, so let's just hop right into it. Oh, and if you're new to the channel, each one of these lessons has its own separate video. So at the very end, I'm gonna have a playlist where you can just kind of go lesson by lesson if you want. Also in the description down below, I'm gonna have all the lessons linked there for you to check out. Lesson number 1 was, at the time, the best lesson that I had ever taken in my life. In this lesson, I really learned how to come in from the inside, how to drop and shallow the club behind me. The 2 key takeaways to be able to do this: the first one that really stuck with me was feeling like I'm swinging to first base. So like if you're thinking of baseball, feeling like you're hitting to first base, okay? The second key takeaway is halfway down in the downswing, wherever the butt of your club is pointing, it will determine the club path that you're gonna have. So if it's pointing left, that means you're coming over the top. If it's pointing right, it means you're coming in from the inside. So obviously we want it to be able to point right, okay? That was lesson number 1. Amazing, amazing lesson. Really good place to start if you haven't seen any of my other videos. Lesson number 2 was really the most important for my driver, and I really came in struggling to square up the club face with longer clubs. So I would get down to a 6, 5 iron and really struggle to close the club face. I was coming in from the inside, but I just kept leaving the club face open, which would result in pushing it off to the right. 2 key takeaways from this lesson. So it's the feeling of having your back face the target for as long as possible. Okay, and then once you're down at impact, if you're recording like a down the line view, you should still be able to see the buttons on your shirt. And then one thing that really helped me out so much, and it's something that I do every single time I play golf, is my ball position just slightly closer to the toe. So if we hit it off the toe, it's a much better miss than if we hit it off the heel. This is a really good lesson for anybody that struggles with slicing their driver, or anybody that struggles just like kind of squaring up the club face. Lesson number 3. So at this point, I was kind of getting very comfortable with my swing and finally like coming in from the inside, hitting natural push draws, but I was still just not hitting it very far. So in lesson number 3, we focused on our lower body and creating speed and power utilizing our lower body. So the 2 key takeaways, these are kind of funny, but the first one is, when you're at impact, you should be able to see both of your butt cheeks. So if you're recording from down the line, you should be able to see both of your butt cheeks. And the second one is, you want to make sure that halfway down in the downswing, you're straightening your lead leg. So pros do this really well, and most amateurs don't straighten their lead leg until you're at impact or after impact. So make sure you do that. This was an amazing lesson for gaining a lot of speed. Lesson number 4, we're gonna glaze kind of very quickly over because I'm not very proud of it. I went on a golf trip and got the shanks, and it was awful and miserable. So I came back and worked on that with Zach, try to figure out why it happens, and if it was to happen again, how to diagnose for it and sort of fix it on the spot. So I hope you don't have the shanks, but if you have the shanks, that lesson will be really good for you. And if you don't have the shanks, just pretend like you didn't hear the last 30 seconds of me talking. What lesson are we on? We're on lesson number 5. Oh my God, I'm already lost. Yes. Okay. Lesson number 5, I was coming into Zach really kind of struggling. I felt like a lot of my natural tendencies were coming back, so I felt like I was kind of coming over the top again. So in this lesson, we really focused on the takeaway and really focused on making a full turn. So the key takeaway on this one is just making sure you feel like your left shoulder is over your right knee at the top of your backswing. And that's gonna allow you to get that space to be able to drop the club behind you and swing to first base, okay? This lesson was amazing. I gained a ton of yardage just from the full turn and really like working on some power stuff. So really good lesson. I think I gained like 15, 20 yards with my 8 iron like that. It was awesome. And guys, since we're halfway through, please consider subscribing. It's completely free, and hopefully you get a lot of really good information like all these lessons. I post a lesson once every 3 weeks or so, and hopefully you kind of join this community and let me know how your golf games are going, and if you're implementing some of these things, I'd love to hear all about that stuff. So make sure you subscribe and introduce yourself down below, and if you have any questions, just drop them down below. I literally respond to every single comment. Okay, all right, lesson number 6, one of my favorite, oh my gosh, I keep saying that, but lesson number 6 was really good. It's all about consistency in ball striking. So everybody wants to be more consistent, and nobody knows how to get there. And that's really what we go over in that lesson. There's really 3 things that Zach teaches me here. The first one is ground contact needs to be good. So ground contact needs to be in front of the ball, right? So you want to strike the ball first and then hit the ground. Number 2, face strike needs to be a center strike. So in relation to the club face, you don't want it to be hitting off the toe, you don't want it to be hitting off the heel, you want it to be hitting it just in the center. And then the third key is directional control, right? So are you able to hit your target by controlling your club path and club face relationship? It sounds a lot more complicated than it is, but in reality, it's just how big of a left to right dispersion do you have? The tighter that is, the more consistent you're gonna be. Okay, lesson number 7. Yes, lesson number 7 is something that's so important and nobody really talks about it. And it bothers me because I think it's one of the most important parts of the swing, and it's all about the release. This is something that I struggle with so much because the first 5 years of me playing golf, I would just sort of like hold the club face and never release it. Well, in this lesson, I learned how to properly release a golf club, and it should feel kind of like a bounce pass in basketball, if that makes sense, like a side bounce pass in basketball. And this is, at this point, is like the best ball striking that I've ever had in my life. Like right after this lesson, I went to practice and I seriously felt like I was on top of the world. So it's a really, I know I keep saying it. I mean, you guys are gonna get bored and you're gonna think I'm lying, but it really is a really good lesson. Lessons number 8 and 9 are kind of grouped together. They're completely different things. So I guess, let me just keep them separated. But in reality, I took one lesson and kind of split up the video into 2. But the first part of that lesson was all about kind of exploding off the ground. So pushing off the ground, jumping off the ground to generate power and speed in the swing. It should really feel like you're kind of gripping the earth and sort of launching off, kind of like a spring off your foot. And that's really important to gaining speed. So lesson number 9, I've tried to explain about 5 times already on camera. Nothing good is coming out, but it's really all about the finish. It's all about how thinking about the finish can influence how you swing the golf club, okay? And this really helps if you're struggling with longer clubs to continuously come in from the inside and have a really solid in to out club path, okay? The key takeaways is when you finish, your chest should really be pointing right at the target. It's a really important lesson, but it's one that's like, I think a little bit more advanced and something that I'm still kind of going through. So it may not relate to everybody, but I still think it was really important to kind of show on here because it's something that I'm still working on. Lesson number 10 is also all about the release. Really the main key takeaway is to like release your lag. You have to release your lag. All that potential energy that you've generated in the backswing and really in the downswing needs to be released and let go to the ball so that the ball can just kind of launch off. If you release that lag, that's going to help you hit the ball higher. It's going to help you hit the ball further. It's going to generate more club head speed. You really want to feel like right after impact, you should have a straight line from your club face all the way up to your shoulder. And if you're able to do that, that usually means you hit the ball pretty darn good. I hope we're doing good on time. I'm not really sure, but I did want to say, guys, this is my 50th week of my journey to scratch, and I am so grateful for all of you that have tuned in to watch this journey. This was really just a personal passion project, and it makes me so excited that so many of you guys are watching and kind of supporting and following along. And hopefully you're learning a thing or two from what I'm learning as well. And really I'm trying to kind of grow a community where we continue to inspire each other and grow and learn from each other so that we can get better at this game together. So yeah, if you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, make sure you press like, thumbs it up. It helps out my channel significantly. It will help push this video out so we can continue growing this channel and our community. And last but not least, a huge thank you to Zach. I can't believe I haven't said that up to this point. A huge thank you to Zach. He is a freaking man transforming my golf swing. If you live in the DFW area, go check him out. He works at a Bridlewood Golf Club. I'll have ways to contact him right here. They'll also be in the description down below. And he has a way of doing kind of a like virtual lesson as well. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit him up on Instagram and he can kind of give you some details. But he does kind of like a swing evaluation, lets you know what you really should be working on, which is super helpful. I think I've covered it all. I hope this is 10 minutes. I'm not really sure. If you're interested in watching all the lessons from start to finish, I have a playlist right here for you. Just click on that and you can go video by video. If one thing resonated with you and you just want to check out a specific video, I have them all linked down below in the description as well. And with that said, I hope you have a blessed week. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for the support. I can't wait to see the next 50 weeks that come out of this journey. And I love you guys so much. I hope you're playing some good golf out there. Take care.